Module 4, Understanding Parenting Time Structures. Hello and welcome back. In the previous module, we introduced the three foundational areas that appear in many parenting plans: parenting time, decision-making, and communication. In this module, we are going to take a closer look at the first of those foundations, parenting time. Parenting time is one of the most visible parts of any parenting plan because it determines when the child is in each household. But parenting time is not just about dividing days on a calendar. It affects the child's routine, transitions, and school consistency. It affects their emotional rhythm, transportation demands, extracurricular activities, and sleep patterns. At the most basic level, parenting time answers core questions. Where will the child be on school days? Where will the child be on weekends? How often will transitions happen? Who is responsible for transportation? How are holidays, school breaks, and vacations handled? And what happens when the normal schedule is interrupted? Once two households are involved, the number of variables increases quickly. One of the first things to understand is that parenting time structures are usually shaped by context. For example, the age of the child matters. Very young children may have different developmental needs than teenagers. The distance between households also matters. Parents who live close may have more flexibility with exchanges during the school week. Parents who live farther apart may need longer blocks of parenting time because frequent transitions would be difficult or disruptive. Work schedules matter too. Some parents work traditional weekday hours, others work nights, rotating shifts, or military schedules. Therefore, the structure of parenting time often has to account for these practical realities and the child's temperament. Some children adapt easily, others struggle with frequent exchanges. That is why there is no universal parenting time schedule that works for every family. Common examples include the alternating week schedule, where the child spends one full week with each parent. This can create fewer exchanges and a very clear pattern, but it can also mean longer gaps away from each parent. Another example is the 3-2-2-3 schedule, which creates a repeating pattern with 2-day and 3-day blocks. This provides regular contact with both parents while maintaining predictability for the child's routine. Regardless of the structure, it must be examined through a child-centered and reality-based lens. What is workable? What is predictable? What supports the child's daily functioning? What reduces unnecessary friction? What can both households realistically sustain over time? Another major part of parenting time is transitions. A schedule is only as strong as the exchange process that supports it. If pickup times, locations, or expectations are unclear, conflict can show up repeatedly. These practical details matter. Parenting time also extends to address holidays, school breaks, birthdays, and summer vacation to avoid returning to the same disputes year after year. Parenting time is not just about counting overnights. It is about designing a schedule that can function in real life as a structural issue. A schedule should be understandable, workable, and reduce unnecessary ambiguity. It must account for the actual realities of your lives. Before moving on, take a moment to reflect on your child's current rhythm. Think about school, distance, and work schedules. If parenting time is meant to create stability, which parts of the plan's design and structure will realistically function day to day, and which parts are more likely to introduce stress, confusion, or repeated friction? As a practical exercise, start by walking through one full week of your current or proposed schedule step by step. Look at each transition, each exchange, and each activity, and ask yourself, who is responsible here? Is the timing clear? Would both households interpret this the same way? If something changes, is there a clear way to adjust? If you already have a parenting plan, identify one or two areas where the structure seems unclear or repeatedly creates tension, and write out how those sections could be made more specific or predictable. If you do not yet have a plan or you are building one, sketch out a simple weekly schedule and mark any areas where you feel uncertain about logistics, timing, or responsibilities. And if your current plan no longer fits your reality, note what has changed. Work schedules, distance, school needs, or the child's age may all shift over time. Then consider what adjustments would make the structure more workable moving forward. As we close this module, remember that parenting time is not just about how time is divided. It is about whether the structure you create can actually function in real life. A schedule can look balanced on paper and still create daily friction if the details are unclear or unrealistic. At the same time, even a simple schedule can work well when expectations are clear, transitions are predictable, and both households understand how the plan operates. The goal is not perfection. The goal is a structure that is stable, understandable, and sustainable over time.
In the next module, we are going to move one step deeper into how parenting time actually operates by looking at transitions, exchanges, and transportation. Because a schedule only works if the handoffs between households are clear. And with that said, I will see you in the next module.